Welcome to Season 3, Episode 7 of the Me and ADHD podcast. In today's episode, I'm having a conversation with integrated and children's counsellor, therapist and ADHD coach, Jodie Sturges, about her ebook that is now available. And it's titled Navigate Your Life to Emotional Freedom. So welcome, Jodie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
That's okay. That was a mouthful to get through, I must admit.
There's more to add to that list as well, by the way, but we won't go there.
No problem. You okay today then?
Yes, I'm good. I'm cool at the moment. So I know it's going to hit the 30s later. So I'm glad that we're doing this first thing in the morning. So yeah, I'm okay right now. I'm okay.
No worries. You got your cold coffee at the go, yeah?
Yeah, just had my cold coffee. Yeah, so yeah, we're all good. We're all good. Thank you.
So now I know for the recent conversation you've been diagnosed ADHD. That's last year.
Yes.
So I know you've obviously you're a therapist. So How long have you been a therapist for then?
So I qualified just coming up 12 years.
Okay.
So 12 years ago, I qualified as a counsellor, therapist, same difference. I'm registered with the BACP, and I've been mainly in private practice. So I have my own practice in Kent. I started that about 10 years ago, which is Kent Counselling Services, working with adults and young people. So I work with adolescents as well from around the age of 10 upwards. I was a counselling tutor for 4 years as well. That was really fun. That was great. I come away from that during COVID. It all went online. It was quite a lot to shift from, classrooms, then going online. And the admin work is a hell of a lot. And I really struggled with that. Now I know why. So I did that for 4 years, come away from that. I'm also a clinical supervisor, so students that are in placement, I'll oversee their work. Even qualified counsellors will come to me for clinical supervision. So I've got a lot of things going on. Also, my socials, my TikTok is in the last sort of 6 months has gone crazy. So there's lots going on, but my main job, if you like, is a therapist in working in my private practice, and I do that full time.
Okay. Yeah, you're spinning a lot of plates there.
Typical ADHD, isn't it?
Fair play to you. So with that then, obviously you've been a coach therapist for a while, but you now do the ADHD coaching as well. So what sort of directed your career towards kind of the coaching side and even the therapy side, to be fair?
Yeah, sure. So the therapy side of things, I've got 6 children, and after my second son, so he's 19 now. So after I had him, I struggled with postnatal depression and anxiety. Never experienced it before, and my health visitor picked it up actually, and she referred me for some therapy a very, very long time ago, and first time I'd ever done it, and I found it amazing. I really loved it. I absolutely loved it. I think I went back 2 or 3 times after that with the same lady. It was on the NHS, and back then it was a lot easier to access therapy than it is now. And I honestly, I just took to it. And I remember sitting there and I thought, do you know what? I'd love to do something like this. But I had, a young baby at the time, and thought, well, it's not something I can do now. And when the children, the younger children at the time, got a little bit older and started nursery, I just thought it never left me.
Yeah.
It just kind of, is this? I could see myself doing something like this. I was always that person that people always come to with their problems.
Yeah.
Even as a teenager, everyone would come to me. So, it was just something I could really see myself doing. So I I kind of like done a little bit of digging where the courses start, and I found a level 2 at Mid Kent College in Kent. And it was part-time, and I thought, okay, I can do that. Let's try it. So I did, and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. Then went on and done the level 3. And then I went on and did the 2-year diploma with an organisation called Interpsyche, which is based in Dartford in Kent. It was hard, hard in the sense of the academic side of things.
Yeah.
Lastminute.com. Sitting up to 2-3 in the morning, trying to get the essay finished that's due in the next day. So the academic side of things, I did struggle. I had to work so hard. But the practical side of things, I found so natural. It was great. I loved it. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And 12 years later, I still wake up every morning looking forward to going to work. And I cannot tell you what a blessing that is. And it was the best move I made, the best move I made. So I love my job. I love watching people's growth. It's the best job in the world. I love it so much. It's challenging at times, of course it is, but it was the best thing I did. So that's how the therapy side of things started. About midway through my career, I decided I wanted to do clinical supervision, so I did some training on that. So about 5 years ago, my son was diagnosed with ADHD and ASD. So he was diagnosed, and I was literally given a leaflet, like, here we go, see you later. And I was like, wow, what am I going to do here? So I hyper-focused it. Didn't know I was doing that at the time, but I hyper-focused it. I wanted to know everything possible about ADHD and ASD for him.
Yeah.
I did loads of courses. I literally, it just absolutely consumed me. And I felt that as a parent, I needed to do that for him. At the same time, which is interesting, around about the same time, so about 5 years ago, I started to see an influx of neurodiversities coming through for therapy.
Right. Okay.
And that has escalated, and it continues to escalate over the last 5 years. So that made me even more interested. So I was learning more and more, not just for my son, but also from a professional point of view.
Okay.
I even at one point, this was a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I developed a CPD workshop for therapists that want to know more about working with neurodiversities.
Okay.
So I did this online. I did a face-to-face one as well. I have been asked to do another one this year, so I'm trying to fit that in somewhere. What people don't realize or understand, and this is a massive bugbear of mine, when therapists train to be a therapist, counsellor, whatever you want to call it, we don't even touch on neurodiversities.
Okay.
Which is astonishing. Like,
Yeah.
wow. It's not part of the training. So if you want to know more about how to work with neurodiversities, you have to get additional training, which is shocking.
That is shocking. Looking at the grand scale of how many neurodivergents there are out there seeking help and needing help and support and guidance, you would think it would be you're in the standard training.
100%. I suspect that will change. I hope it does. Because the escalation that I have seen over the last 5 years is astronomical. young
Yeah.
people and adults. So it's really important to have an understanding of neurodiversities and how therapists need to adapt their way of working. And trust me, we do,
Yeah.
to suit the needs of the client. And that's why I developed the CPD workshop, which got great numbers. And I do need to kind of do more of that. And I will be. I've been asked to do another one in October this year. So it's quite sad, really. And I supervise students that are in placement. And what I mean by that is when you are training to be a therapist, counsellor, you have to do 100 hours in placement before you can qualify.
Yeah.
And you have a clinical supervisor that you see once a fortnight just to make sure that you're working safely. If you get stuck with anyone, just kind of overseeing the work. And the amount of students that are having neurodiverse clients and they're like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have me as a clinical supervisor, we can work through it. But if they don't have a clinical supervisor that has the knowledge that I have, we got a problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Absolutely.
worries me. That worries me a lot. And something has to change there. Something has to change. I suspect it will. But it needs to happen now. It needs to happen now. But until that happens, I will try and put as much information out there and training courses for therapists, as often as I can. But it's not enough, really. It's not enough.
So much more needs to be done. Across the board, really, in education, the teacher training, that they barely touch on it,
Yep.
and your GPs and all that as well.
Yep.
It's like, unless they've got a bit of an interest in it, they're not going to know. So when they're talking to you about certain things or trying to support you in certain ways, unless they can understand what a neurodivergent person will be going through and how it all could work, it's impossible. Not impossible, I should say, but it's a lot harder to get through and give that correct support. Because the
100%.
last thing I want to be told is, 5 minutes of this is what you should do, this is what you should do, this is what you don't do, da, 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 and then there you go, see you later, bye. Because I'm not going to remember anything you've just said. And if you knew I had ADHD and the problem with the attention and listening and memory, you wouldn't do that. You would do it in a different way.
100%. And this is where kind of like the coaching side of things came in for me, really, because I was doing all this extra research, training, and all of this stuff to sort of, help my son, help my clients. I started kind of, I've done stuff with my son over the years to help him manage his ADHD. So I was already kind of doing stuff already, and kind of trying to learn as much as I can about, how to dopamine hack and, ways of doing things with an ADHD that's different to neurotypical, that's going to be more beneficial. And it really doesn't have to be huge adjustments sometimes as well. So when I was seeing, and I see a lot of neurodiverse um, people, and they would bring their struggles like, working memory and organization and all these things that were massive challenges for them. So, I started kind of putting some suggestions. This is something I've read, and I wonder if you could try that and see how that goes, and then we'll check in next week. And I started seeing people really benefiting from that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's good and well that we're doing the therapy stuff and I'm empathizing and listening and having a great understanding of where they're at. But actually, we need a little bit more proactive stuff going on here. So I started, I'd check with the client, should we change stance a little bit? Should we kind of look at some things that maybe you could put in place and just kind of give it a try and see how that goes? And I was finding that it was working.
Okay.
And I have coaching myself, not ADHD coaching, but different types of coaching. So I know how it kind of, what it looks like. I did do a couple of coaching training courses online as well. So just to kind of look at goals and kind of what's pressing, what's not, and just kind of having a bit more structure. So that's where the kind of coaching side of things come in. So I can mix it up a little bit. Therapy staff, a little bit of coaching as well. And I just find that works so well.
Okay.
ADHD is like a bit of a challenge, you know. Like, okay, let's try this, and I'll be checking in with you next week. Not in a kind of I'm going to tell you off way, because that's not how I work, but kind of what worked, what didn't. Let's adjust it. So it's working together as a team, and I'm really seeing results from that. Really seeing results. And ADHDers, we do need accountability. I need accountability. I need someone that I check into every week. Yep, I've done this. Nope, I haven't done this. Can we look at why I haven't done that? Let's adjust things. I need that myself. And I do find that with accountability, ADHDers need that. And I just find it really works. It really works. And it's not a one size fits all. It has to be tailored around that person as an individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
ADHD isn't a one size fits all. This is something else that really frustrates me. You know, like people just think that it's very kind of bog standard traits that you will have, and it's totally not that. And some ADHDers will struggle with some things, whereas other ADHDers won't struggle with those things. So it has to be tailored to that individual.
Yeah. I mean, I when you look at your stereotypical presentations that are out there, I go against the grain in quite a few ways. So
Yeah.
and that led to me thinking, do I really have it? Do I? I mean, I've got the diagnosis, and I believe in the clinic. It's a really good clinic. Why would I think they're wrong? But however, I don't do this, I don't do that, but you like you say, you're right. It's we are not all the same, and we struggle in different areas, and so
Yeah. Environment's really important.
yeah,
So in terms of, if we're thinking about career, I've worked with so many ADHDers that are in a career choice that is not suitable for an ADHDer. So they are struggling daily, constantly struggling. And that then filters out to self-esteem, self-worth. Then that filters out into relationships and friendship. And it just has this awful ripple effect. And when we can understand what a good environment looks like for an ADHDer, then you can make a more informed choice in terms of your career. So when I think about my career with what I do and why it suits me so well, is it's varied every day. So every hour I have a different person sitting in front of me, different challenges, different issues, different stories. So it's constantly varies throughout my whole day. Therefore I can hyper focus that. It keeps me, keeps my dopamine going. If I was sitting with the same person for 8 hours all day, we're going to have a different story there. Admins at a minimal.
yeah,
I keep my admin at a minimal purposely. I am able to use my natural abilities in this job. So my natural empathy, my problem solving skills, my creative mind, because I work creatively with a lot of my clients. So all the great things about my ADHD, I can bring into my career choice. I work for myself. I'm not good with being micromanaged. Most ADHDers aren't. And, in terms of working for myself, I probably work the hardest working for myself.
yeah.
So, but when I'm being micromanaged, and I've had many jobs previous to this, I don't do well with that. I see things will work a certain way, and if someone tries to deviate me from that, I find that a real struggle, a real
Yeah, yeah.
struggle. So working for myself definitely works so much better for me, and a varied day is really important, and being able to access those natural abilities that I have that's part of my ADHD and be able to use that, it massively helps with self-worth and self-esteem. Yes, I have ADHD. Yes, I struggle, but I can use part of my ADHD to enable me to do a good job.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, the environment and everything around you is it's key to how the presentation will come out, because the stresses and the responsibilities and the noise levels and
Mm,
everything can all affect your ADHD. As you're younger, if you're going through university, that can be a struggle for a lot of people because of the pressure and the learning and the reading and things like
yeah.
that.
Mm,
And then you come out of that and go into a job that you like, and then maybe the pressure has gone down a bit because you're doing something that you enjoy and it's something that's going to benefit you and you. So everything, it can change, and then family dynamics can add or take from it. Um,
yeah.
it's a lot. There's a lot, and like you said, everyone is different, and the environment that they live in and what they do and their background and all different as well.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah,
100%. Yeah.
it's an interesting area to look at and to study. And I don't understand why it's not part of the basic training in well, for anything, I guess, that you're dealing with the
Mm,
public. That should be there. But
yep. 100%.
here we
100%.
are. But hopefully it's going to change. It will change. So
Yep.
for you then, so you do the therapy and do the coaching. Is the ADHD aspect of it, or the neurodivergent aspect of it, is that a speciality for you now, would you say, or is it just amongst everything else that you do?
Yeah. So in terms of niche, my niche was working with young people. Lots of therapists struggle with working with the adolescents, teenagers, but I absolutely love it. It's a challenge, and I love a challenge. So that was my niche, was working with young people. I worked with adults as well, but I used to get a lot of teenagers here. I still do to a point. Um, then as I say, I got sort of big influx of ADHDers coming in, and I was then diagnosed last March. So I'm going to get a knock at the door. I'm so sorry.
That's right. Don't worry.
Two
Don't worry.
seconds. So I was diagnosed with ADHD last March, and it took me a good few months to process that. Even though I knew way before that, I it brought up so much for me. Once I'd processed it, worked through it, it was about 3 or 4 months. I just got to a point where I was like, do you know what? I've got ADHD children. I'm a qualified therapist. I'm already seeing people who are neurodiverse. Let's just embrace this and use it to my advantage.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I did. I changed my stance on TikTok. So I was on TikTok. I was Jodie the therapist. Now I'm Jodie the ADHD therapist, and I changed my stance on there. I got myself a TikTok coach, and do you know what the first bit of advice he gave me, because we built a relationship. He said to me, Jodie, just be more yourself. And I was myself on there, but I wasn't showing all of me,
Yeah.
you know, swearing and being out there and the humor. There was a little bit of, I'm a therapist, I have to behave in a certain way. And He was like, do you know what? You got a great character. You are ADHD. Just show it all. Just show it all. And I just went for it. And I just thought, do you know what? I need to embrace this and show people that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And so I think it was November, I was sitting about 3.5K followers. We're now in June. I'm nearly at 27K.
There's a big
And that
difference.
was by being more myself, but showing it all. Showing
Yeah.
it all. The struggles of ADHD. I might be a therapist and I might look like I've got it all together, but that isn't the case. I have the same struggles. So just being really, really authentic with it. But also, you know, helping people get diagnosis on the right to choose, doing lives and answering people's questions and giving as much free stuff as I possibly can. I've just done a podcast with Dr. Ali Ajaz about a holistic approach for people that can't take stimulants. Like I'm so fortunate that I get a lot of opportunities that will help me get so much information that I can then share with everybody.
Yeah.
Because I had to work so hard to find all of the information about ADHD when my son was diagnosed. So I want to kind of do it for people so they can just go to my platform and it's all there. I mean, I can't cover absolutely everything, but I do as much as I can. And then I guess yes, that is my niche now, is ADHD. And you know what? When clients come to see me, because not all clients know that I'm diagnosed with ADHD, and I do share that with them because I think it's really, really important. And the relief that I see in their faces, they've been to previous therapists before that aren't ADHD, and you know, I really truly believe that unless you have ADHD, you can never ever truly know what it's like. And I don't care how many degrees you've got or how much education you have around psychology and neurodiversities. If you don't experience it, you will never ever really and truly understand what it's like. And I can offer that to my clients. And I feel it's so important that I do that.
Yeah.
So yes, ADHD is now my niche, but I see lots of neurotypicals, you know, that my door's open to anybody. I don't just see people with ADHD or ASD. I see a good mixture. But to work with someone with ADHD that has never seen a therapist with ADHD, you get a completely different result.
Yeah. Yeah. I have both as well. The therapist I have now, she's ADHD. She's wonderful, and it's nice that you don't have to explain what you struggle with. Just, you know, when you're in a session, you know, do you mind if I do speak slower a lot of the time when I forget my word? You don't. No, it's just automatic acceptance. And when I struggle to find my words, she'll just sit there and let me, she doesn't talk over me or anything like that, or ask me different questions. I'm like, it's just, it is so much easier.
Yeah. And acceptance is so key.
Yeah.
So key. And, you know, when I was diagnosed and I spent sort of 3 or 4 months processing that, it was acceptance that I needed to get to.
Yeah.
Acceptance and self-compassion. And, you know, when I can accept my clients for who and what they are, no matter what, it really helps them to accept themselves. And that is so key, because let's face it, when you're diagnosed later on in life, you have spent a very long time not being accepted.
Yeah.
And it is so important that clients feel accepted with or without ADHD. it's I've seen so many clients on their knees because they've been undiagnosed for all of their life and they have been through horrendous stuff, been told horrendous stuff. So not only are they dealing with now an ADHD diagnosis, their self-esteem and self-worth is absolutely on the floor. And we have to build that up. And I'd like to think that, you know, especially for young people, that they can look at me and go, do you know what? You can have ADHD and still be all right with the right support, right resources, the right conditions, the right environment. I can still do all right.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
fact, in the right environment and the right kind of, you know, support in place, you can smash it.
It can make a huge difference. It can make a massive difference. I know what my head needs. I can't get that, but I know. But if I got that life for me in my head would be unbelievably different. You know, fortunately, I can't live in the Lake District at the moment, so. But that's my. I guess where my soul is in the Lake District, the mountains, the lakes, the hiking, being out there. That's where I'm at my calmest. That's where I'm at my happiest. That's where I'm at. Nothing matters when I'm there. But you know,
Sounds beautiful.
so you know, until I get to retire there, maybe, or something like that, that's not going to happen. So yeah, the environment can play a massive role. So your book then. So
Yes.
what was the inspiration about the book? I mean, did it come before the diagnosis, afterwards?
Yes, there's a bit of a story here. So I love learning, as you've heard. I love learning. If it's something I'm interested in, you know, I'll hyper focus it. And I've got a shelf full of books up there, you know, therapy related stuff. And I see these books. Oh yeah, I've heard about this one. Oh yes, and I'll buy it and I'll open it, and it's just pages and pages of text with no visuals, no interactions, no. And I'd try and persevere, and I'd not retain the information, and get really bored easy. And I just feel so disappointed in not being able to read the book that, you know, my colleagues are reading now, and
Yeah.
I'd get so frustrated. Obviously now I know why. But when I it was about 18 months ago, maybe even longer, I had this plan of, do you know what? I want to create a therapy book that I would like to read if you know, I was looking for a therapy book. So I started designing this therapy book. I wanted it to be interactive, have visuals. After each section, have reflection questions, place where you can write things down. You know, that real kind of probing, not just pages and pages and pages of writing.
Yeah.
And I specifically chose subjects that I find a lot of clients struggle with. So anxiety, grief and loss, boundaries, inner child, self-esteem. But I didn't want it to just waffle on. I mean that in the nicest possible way. Just get to the point. That you know, that's me. Just get to the point. So again, I wanted the sections to be quite condensed, to the point, interactive visuals, reflection questions, like really interactive. So I started designing the book. Procrastinated a lot. Procrastinated a hell of a lot because there was no deadline. There was no deadline. It was just open ended, which is not great for me. I then got diagnosed with ADHD, and I put it down for a bit because I needed time and space to process that. Then when I kind of come to, and I was like, right, come on, let's get to work. I got back to the book, and then I realised this book, I'm designing a book that's ADHD friendly without even knowing it. And I just thought, I need to carry on with this. I need to carry on. So I did, and I carried on in the way that I wanted it. And it's called Navigate Your Life to Emotional Freedom. And literally all I did was I put an extra kind of subheading, an ADHD friendly therapy book, engaging visuals, and a variety of activities to facilitate personal growth. So I wanted to carry on with the theme that I was doing, and to carry on with how I wanted it to look. Because I was designing a therapy book that was ADHD friendly. I didn't even know. So anyway, I got a personal development coach. He does a 12-week program. He's amazing. We've only got 2 weeks left. And I told him about this book, and I said, I keep procrastinating. Can we please, keep me focused? So we focused purely on the book because I've got so many different projects going on, typical. And we focused on this, and I was seeing him for about 3 weeks, and I got it finished. And the sense of achievement. I was like, yes, I've actually finished something. Yay. And so it's on my Pensight account, which is linked to my TikTok account. And it's an ebook. And I like the fact that it's an ebook. So if I just show you, it's got some reflection pages there. Now, things happen constantly in life. So you may go back to the ebook to you might think, I've experienced a loss now, so I'm going to go and look at that grief and loss section in Jodie's book. And you can just reprint the reflection pages. Whereas if you buy a hard copy and you write in it, it's pretty much done for, isn't it? So, you can just reprint the pages. I've had a couple of people that have bought this that have had it printed for friends and family, which I thought was really, really sweet. So it doesn't mention ADHD in here because I'd started it off as a therapy book, and I wanted to continue that. But it's got some great topics in here that often ADHDers do struggle with. So it talks about emotions and moods, and it's got a big feelings wheel at the beginning, so it can help you identify what you're feeling. We know that in our minds there can be a lot of chaos, and trying to identify all the feelings can be quite tricky. So visuals is so good, and I use visuals in the therapy room as well. I use emotion cards, adult ones, and they go down like a dream. So looking at emotions, feelings, why it's important to express those healthily. Looking at ways of being able to like kind of self-care stuff, and looking at happy hormones, let's say. So that's including dopamine as well, and serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin. Self-care. Now, I know this is one that I struggle with a lot. And my supervisor is always telling me off for this. Jodie, you're doing too much. Jodie, like, where are you in all this, Jodie? Jodie, what are you doing for yourself? I'm like, what? What do you mean? Lots of ADHDers are, full up of stuff. And, I have to work with my clients to kind of say, look, how are you filling your own cup here? And we do neglect ourselves a hell of a lot. And I'm guilty for it as well. And I have to check in with myself sometimes. I'm like, Jodie, just stop. It's okay. Take a break. And self-care doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It really, really doesn't. And so I put a big section in here on self-care, but also looking at why it's so important. Yeah. Because I think a lot of ADHDers feel guilty for implementing self-care. I know that I do sometimes. That I have to do loads of stuff in order to give myself permission to just sit and stop for a bit. And I know a lot of ADHDers are the same. And I go through each part. Why is self-care important? So we look at kind of physical health, mental health, emotional well-being, looking at burnout. ADHDers are much more susceptible to burnout. Self-worth and empowerment. Looking at things to try and prevent compassion fatigue. So ADHDers, we're often givers. We give a lot. And how, when we're okay, that filters through into our relationships. When we're constantly burnt out, we then can't give ourselves to our loved ones sometimes in our relationships, and it
Yeah.
can cause problems. So I break it down as to why it's so important, just to help the reader think, do you know what, it is really important, isn't it? And I don't need to feel guilty. And there's some great self-care ideas in there. There's a self-care plan example. And the reflection on this. So one of the questions is, what thoughts and beliefs come to mind when you think about self-care? So it's really thinking about where those beliefs come from.
Yeah.
So just time, time and reflection to kind of think about where do these thoughts and beliefs come from? And each section has those probing questions. There's a big section on anxiety, which I know lots of ADHDers struggle with.
Yep.
Another good one, writing an unsent letter. I use this with my clients.
Okay.
So we know that ADHDers can struggle with justice sensitivity. We hold on to things. We struggle with just letting go, and we feel like someone's done us wrong. Writing an unsent letter is a great way to help you let go. And there's a section in here. It talks about why an unsent letter is useful, how you can use it. It really breaks everything down, what to do with the letter afterwards. So that's great for an ADHDer. There's a big part in here on grief and loss. We all experience grief and loss. But I feel that we can experience grief when we're diagnosed with ADHD later on in life. I know I felt it, of what life could have been had I been diagnosed. Lots of things around grief can come up. There's a bit in here. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, I've spoken to a lot of people who say exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I personally didn't have that, but nearly everyone I've spoken to has gone through that.
Yeah.
I understand though. I can understand why.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I definitely felt it. And there's a great section in here on healing your inner child. I've had to do some healing my inner child work, and I do a lot of this with my clients. It's very powerful work, but it's also very tough. But when we have a wounded child, that shows up in our adult life. Yeah. And I see it constantly. It's a subconscious process. So there's a section here about the inner child, how we can reconnect with our inner child, and how to reparent our inner child. It's great work, but you have to be in a ready place to do that.
Yeah.
And some people aren't, and that's okay. So, and there's a section in here on self-esteem as well. There's some great visualizations that it's condensed. There's some great subjects in there. As I say, it's interactive, lots of visuals, rather than just lots and lots of text, which I didn't want. And also what comes with that. So when you purchase that and you download that, it comes with an ultimate reflection journal and planner, and that's completely free. There's a daily planner and a weekly planner. I know ADHDers don't always stick to these things. That's fine. But the daily reflection I really like. So I'm a big fan of journaling. I don't believe you need to do it every day, but if you feel like you've got a busy mind and you've got to offload some stuff and there's no one to talk to, journaling's great. In the journal part, I've put some specific questions to help with reflection. The first one, how did I feel today and how am I feeling now? And it's also got the feelings wheel in here as well. Question number 2, challenges and triggers of the day. So it's really thinking about what got to me today. My favourite part is this. Question number 3, what are 3 good things that have happened today? 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 things I've achieved today. Again, ADHDers can be so hard on themselves. Oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. Really focusing on the things that we haven't done, the things we haven't achieved, when actually we have usually done huge amounts and we never acknowledge it. And I see this when the ADHD coaching. The frantic of looking constantly forward. I need to do that. I haven't done that. I'm like, okay, let's just stop for a moment. These are the goals that I set for you last week, and you've achieved them all. let's just take a moment to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And I have to really stop them in their tracks, and they go, oh yeah. And then I always make a point of emailing the achievements that they have achieved that week, so they have a constant reminder that is there. It's great for positive mindset. So I love that in this journal. And then there's a couple of pages that are plain for people to just kind of free write. But it's so important for mindset to, yes, okay, we need to look at what still needs to be done. But equally, we have to acknowledge what we have done, what we have achieved, the good things that have happened in that day, even if it's tiny. Practicing gratitude every day, I cannot tell you what a difference it can make to your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm one of those people as well. I'm working on it, but like I said, you've got to try and understand and realize you got to take the small wins. If it's a small one,
100%.
take it. It's a win. It is a win.
Absolutely. And the thing is with a lot of ADHDers is we start something new and it's exciting. Oh yeah, this is great, and then it tails off. So having a visual prompt, you could even print the page off with the 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things I've achieved. You could print that one page off and literally stick it somewhere where you're going to see it every day to remind you of those things.
That's good. I mean, you've got it. It's a book for everybody, but
It's a book for everyone.
But like you said, it's very ADHD friendly, just how it's laid out.
Yeah.
With regards to that, then, would you say it's more for the late diagnosed or unsupported ADHD, or ADHD that's gone through all their lives, as in knowing and diagnosed all their lives?
To be honest, this could be for anybody. Diagnosed ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD, neurotypical, it's got a bit of everything in there. And, as we go through life, things happen, and we all of a sudden we're experiencing anxiety. You can go to the book.
Yeah.
We lose people over time. Go to the book, Grief and Loss. Every now and again, our self-esteem takes a punch. Go to the book. So it's all there. Every now and again, we need to look at our self-care. Go to the book. So it's for everybody. It's for everybody, but it is designed that is much more useful for ADHDs with the visuals and the prompts and the reflection questions, because it's important that they're there. Otherwise, we get bored.
Yes.
Well, I do anyway. And we need that engagement. And it's one of those books that the sections are so condensed that if you read it once and you didn't quite take it all in, it wouldn't take you very long to then go back and read it again.
Yeah.
Which I love that. I love that.
The last thing you want to do is then go back and have to read like another 3, 4, 5 pages of solid text, because I've forgotten it. Let's do it all again.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, absolutely. And I've made the paragraphs kind of smaller paragraphs. I've used lots of colours as well, just to kind of, when we read that paragraph, you're more likely to retain a smaller paragraph than huge paragraphs. I know for me, I'll be like, oh, okay, I need to reread that. And it needs to be punchy and to the point.
Yeah.
If it starts kind of digressing and information that I feel like I don't actually need to know, that I'm not going to retain it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to retain it. So that's the idea behind the book. It kind of didn't start off as it did start off as an ADHD friendly, because I just didn't know it. I didn't know it. But yeah, so that's available, and maybe in the future I will do one that's more ADHD specific. I'm kind of working on doing doing like a course, which are short videos, rather than doing an ADHD ebook.
Okay.
I think we learn better visually. So that's another project that I'm kind of working on at the moment. But we'll see. I think because the book took me so long, I'm kind of, do I want to go through 18 months of that? It should never have taken me 18 months. It should never have taken me 18 months. But You know, it's the fear, my fears. This is an academic piece of work. And all the things I was told as a kid in school about me, you know, not being good enough, not doing well enough, and you're so intelligent, Jodie, but this piece of work is rubbish. Told that the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think my fears and my doubts held me back in launching that.
Yeah.
It was my personal development coach that really helped me work through that. So
I'm glad they did. Yeah, glad they
yeah,
did.
absolutely. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? Even with all the work that I've done on myself, there are still things that can come up.
Yeah.
I can talk on camera till the cows come home, that's fine. And I can talk about this subject, no problem. I have all the knowledge. Ask me to put it in a book, that's when some doubts come in. Because it's just waiting for that person to go, you spelt that wrong. That doesn't make sense. Your grammar's wrong there. I mean, we have the equipment these days, don't we, that really help with that kind of stuff, which is great, you know, very grateful. But when I was at school, there was nothing. There was nothing. And that's all that ever happened was I was criticised for my academic work. But stand up and present a piece, I was one of the best. So yeah, even now, sometimes my doubts come up and I have to have a word with myself.
Yeah, it's I guess it's the story of the backstory of so many late diagnosed ADHDers. You know, not good enough.
Yep.
Try harder.
Yep.
All the rest, and you know, this is where the self doubt and the low self esteem all comes from.
100%. 100%. It's so damaging to grow up undiagnosed because of everything else that comes in. And you know, when clients come to me that are late diagnosed, you know, we've got work to do. We've got work to do. But they get there. And you know, it's a journey, but they do get there, thankfully.
Yeah. Which is good, and we need more people like yourself, more therapists who's trained and have that, you know, intimate understanding of ADHD or other neurodivergent conditions. And just a lot more of them, because a lot of people are searching for answers, searching for help. Diagnosis is great to have. It made me understand my life, but you can't just stop there. You know,
No.
you've got to, you know, do your own research. You've got to look at, you know, speaking to be a therapist or medication or coaching and other things, and putting things into place to help you. You know, knowledge is great, but you need to actually put it into practice, and you know, change your life for the better, because you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I did a live last night on TikTok, and there was quite a few, and this isn't the only time I get this. There was quite a few people saying, "Oh, I'm 49. Is there any point in getting a diagnosis? Oh, I'm 52. I know I've got ADHD, but is there any point now? Is it worth it?" I get a lot of that, and I'm like, absolutely. It's never too late to understand who you are.
Absolutely. Diagnosed at 51, and I am massively happy that I have the answers. I don't want the diagnosis. The diagnosis sucks. I don't want it. I'm not one of those people who it didn't work for me in any way, but it's given me the answers. I don't care what the, you know, reasons why, but now I can understand my life, and other people can understand their lives, and they can understand how to move forward.
Yep.
You know, and to cut themselves some slack from, you know, from the past life. Yeah. That's massive. And so, yeah, I say to anyone, do it. 100%. You know, if you're struggling, you want the answers, and you want the answers to be able to, you know, improve your life.
Well, especially if, you know, people are living like into their 80s and you're only 50. that's a lot of years
Yes.
of not understanding yourself fully and still trying to navigate your life as a neurodiverse person in a neurotypical way that's always going to bring frustrations and huge challenges. Like, why? It's never too late. It is never, never too late. Never too late. I was 43. And
Yeah.
actually, I'm finding that lots of older ladies are getting diagnosed with ADHD because they're hitting their perimenopause. And the research suggests, and again, I've hyper focused this because of my own journey, the research suggests, although there isn't enough research, but it does suggest that hormone fluctuations directly affect dopamine. When dopamine is affected, we know that that massively affects ADHD symptoms and traits. But there are so many women that don't realize that they have ADHD, or they do have ADHD, they're hitting perimenopause, and they are in some very, very dark places.
Yeah. Did you,
Very, very dark places. And I was one of them. And my journey's on my platform on TikTok. I'm on HRT now, bioidentical HRT. Changed my life. Changed my life. And now I'm helping other women. I'm doing a webinar soonish for women that are ADHD, maybe struggling with their hormones. So even more important, if you are an older lady, um, that you have a diagnosis, because the HRT and the ADHD stimulants do work well in terms of helping balance dopamine and hormones, and that, yeah, that it's so important. I was talking to a prescriber the other day, and he said that sometimes he has to up women's um, ADHD stimulants the week before their period is due. Sorry,
that's,
because of the hormone fluctuations and how
okay.
much it affects ADHD. That's probably for another day. But in terms of getting a diagnosis later on in life, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are some men that struggle more so with their ADHD when testosterone starts to drop. So, again, even more important that you get a diagnosis when you are older, because you're going to struggle
Yeah.
when those hormones start to change.
When I see the first load of reading stuff I started to read on about ADHD said, from childhood and all that, and it can get easier as you get older. I haven't. Everyone I've spoken to, and including myself, it's got harder as you get older. Now, whether that's because of life, because family, jobs, responsibilities, and all that kicks in, or and you got the hormonal issues for older women as well.
Yeah.
But it's if you are struggling, if you're not struggling, fine, But if you're struggling,
Yeah.
like you would do for anything else, there's only a certain amount of time you can put up that before it starts
Yeah.
to really affect your life. And so, yeah, get answers. Get answers.
100%. 100%. So if you're someone that is on the fence, go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. Go under the right to choose. Probably the quickest and easiest way. And yeah, get on it. 100%.
Because if you can get the right support, be it therapy, and medication, and putting strategies in place, and it's a combination of things, not just one thing, and it can make a massive difference in certain areas of your life. And
Yep.
if that's an area that you are massively struggling with, and then all of a sudden you're not struggling with it, man, it makes it all worthwhile.
Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
So
Yeah.
where can we find this book then?
Right. So at the moment, it's so on my TikTok platform, Jodie the ADHD therapist. Just underneath my name, it's my Pensite account is there. Click on that. It's $9.99 for the therapy book, but you get the free reflection journal, instant download, and you've got it forever. You can print it off for friends and family. It's there. You can just keep printing pages off and reflection pages. You don't even have to print it off. You can just look at it online, um, and just use a notebook. Probably the cheapest way to do it. So it's on my Pensite account, which is attached to my TikTok profile, Jodie, the ADHD therapist.
Okay. I mean, what I'll do for the podcast and the post I'll put out, I'll put the address for your social media and where they can find the book as well.
Thank you.
If I can attach a link to it so they can go straight to it, and then that'd be great. But yeah, see if I can do that. I might not have the brains to actually do that, but I'll give it a go. So it'll be there for everyone to see, so they know they can follow you on your social media as well.
Perfect.
And which is good. As I follow you, and I like your your post you put out, and I did see the clip of you and the psychiatrist talking about
Dr. Ali Ajaz. Yeah.
Yes. I saw that the other day. It's interesting, very interesting. It's good to see those sort of things from the people who are trained and the lived experience and things like that as well.
Yeah, he's great. He is. There's a couple more parts to come. That I'm going to start his supplements. I trust him. I do trust him. He does a lot of research, and he prefers the holistic road rather than stimulants. And he's done the research. He's so passionate about it. So passionate. So yeah, I'm gonna start that journey soon and document that as well, just so that people can see how it works, if it works. But you got to take it for it's about 10 weeks.
Yeah.
To see result, and it's 12 tablets a day.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I had a look on the website for that. So yeah, that is a lot. But if it works, if I look back at where I am now, what I do now, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't go back. I mean, I pay at the moment. I'm paying private for prescription, and it's a disgusting amount of money.
Yep.
And it's hard, and I work part time, and that's half my wages gone just on that. But it is worth it because they work, and if you get other things, be it the supplements and things like that as well, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, if the finances are there and the abilities to put things in place, it doesn't matter how hard it is. If it works,
it's worth investing in yourself, isn't it? I did a post the other day about how I manage my ADHD, but the expense, and it costs me an absolute fortune. I pay for my medication as well, supplements. I have PT sessions, and people go, "Oh, that's luxury, isn't it?"
No, it's not.
You having PT, and I'm like, I have tried gym memberships, classes, years for years. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. I end up wasting so much money. So to have PT sessions where I'm held accountable, and I need that exercise to keep me going. It sets me up for the day. And yes, some people will see that as a luxury, but I see it as a need. When I don't train, I know about it. So it costs me a fortune, an absolute fortune. That's without not paying bills on time, or I mean, that doesn't happen so much now because everything's done online. But I got fined taking my kids on holiday, and I missed the deadline. So it doubled. Really needed that. I'd read the date wrong. Just silly things like that. That ended up costing me double. That's on top of trying to manage the ADHD. So it's expensive, very expensive. But yes, the things that help is a must. We all deserve a good quality of life. And if we can do that, then we should invest in ourselves.
Absolutely. 100%. Thank you thank you for coming on
You're welcome.
and
Thanks
chat
for
with me.
having me. Thanks for letting me waffle.
No, it's great. Because when I waffle, I bore myself, so it's okay. It's good for other people to talk. No, it's been really lovely talking to you, learning about the book. I'll put everything on the podcast and the write-up and everything.
Thanks, I appreciate that. If I can do anything, let me know. Like if I sending you links, or I don't know, like my Pensite account has like its own link, like link straight into the Pensite account. They don't have to go through my TikTok.
Cool. Yep, I'll try and get that out and sort that out, but I'll send them to your TikTok as well. But it's nice to have the followers and people watching your content. So it's good content. So
thank you. Thanks for having me. If there's ever a specific like subject that you want to look at in the future, give me a shout and we'll do a bit of that. Maybe look at some like coaching stuff, like if people particularly struggling with like doing admin or, those specific things that maybe I can give some advice and things like that. I'm more than happy to do that.
I will take you up on that. Absolutely.
And it's not about, I don't mean this rudely, but my books are full constantly. It's not about trying to get more clients or anything like that, because my books are constantly full. It's just a little bit of information for followers, and sometimes just making the smallest, slightest changes to certain things, like movement breaks, understanding how dopamine works, can massively make a difference. So I'm more than happy to do that. Just give me a shout if you think of anything.
I certainly will. Absolutely. Thanks again, and thanks for anyone who will be listening to this when it goes out. But always, guys, be good, be kind, and remember, you're not alone. Thank you.